Joining us now from Enugu to speak more about this development is the Executive Director, Lead Network, Chukwuma Okenwa. Good to have you join us.
Yeah, thank you so much.
So it looks like this is not the last we're going to hear of this, the move by the federal government to lift 100 million people out of poverty in 10 years. The AFDB had reacted to it, saying unemployment and issues around insecurity will limit that plan. But President Buhari seemed to be insisting that this is possible. When you look at what we have today on ground, the framework that we don't have any new portfolio that has been created. It's not, you don't just create jobs, by winking. So through what parastatals and agencies do you think that we can create these jobs?
It is possible. As a matter of fact, the possibility lies in deliberately moving this nation from being a consuming nation to a producing nation. I want a situation where the presidency can begin to look at the citizens as assets and not liability. How do we tackle the issue of poverty? We tackle poverty by productivity. When we begin to see every citizen as having the capacity of contributing to the economy. Because of course, when we look at the economic growth, the very nature, when you talk about income per capita, it's not just enough to look at it in terms of what an average citizen could earn within an economy, but also what an average citizen has the potential to contribute. And the very interesting thing about this is Nigeria is a large market, but interestingly, most of the things we need, we are not even able to provide for ourselves, ranging from opportunities in manufacturing, to agriculture, like the president mentioned, to services. But one of the things that is really disheartening for an administration that speaks so much about agrarian revolution is the fact that the presidency have not demonstrated the political will to tackle the issue of farmers' headers clash, which of course is counterproductive. So I think we want to see the president demonstrate a political will first in that aspect.
Absolutely. That's, you can't say, go to the farm, and then there are security challenges, and then, even the efforts being made are being thwarted by these security challenges. But let's also bring it down to the states. Doesn't the state governors have a role here? Because it looks like most of the policies we've seen around agriculture, where the federal government is targeting to lift people out of poverty, seems to have been driven largely by the federal government. So what role should the state governments be playing here, even the local governments and the LCDAs?
As a matter of fact, I think there is a need for capacity building for our state governors in terms of refocusing their interest in human capital development. It does appear, especially when you talk about the issue of harnessing the potentials of young people. Nobody wants to look into that. And I think it's high time we begin to look at having a legal framework that will mandate leadership at all levels to have a certain percentage that will be converted into human capital development, diversifying of the economies, because all we see, it's measuring on the minors and minoring on the measuring. If you want to build an economy by trying to build every other thing else, apart from the people that will be the productive, that should be productive to turn around the economy, then of course you are not taking the right step. So I think all of these conversations has been happening without thinking on how can we, for instance, begin to have like engineers that can fabricate engines of vehicles here, that can tackle the issue of like the phone gap we have here. Nigerians use lots of phones, but largely, we don't have many of them being produced here. So there's lots of market Nigeria we can actually leverage, and young people are all across the states, but unfortunately our state governors are not even looking at that as an area to explore.
And one of the biggest challenges that people have is whether we have the framework in place to assess some of these programs that the federal government has put in place. The Anchor Borrowers Program, the Social Development Program, there has not been that framework to say we're assessing the key performance index of this program. It's a huge challenge for some people, but we'll see how some of this plays out in the coming years to see what the federal government has done so far. Executive Director, Lead Network, Chukwuma Okenwa, thanks for talking to us.
Thank you so much.